I pulled up to the Sunoco station with my gas gauge very near E, and while I was pumping my gas, I observed a woman sitting in the passenger seat in the car across from mine. Her driver had pumped and was paying, and the entire time that it took me to get my 14 gallons, the passenger was on her cell phone doing things. Welcome to Calm in the Chaos Interfaith Center, where we try to stay focused on the beauty and wonder of the world and not get too caught up in the net of the chaos around us. Cell phones have taken the place of a curly corded phone on the wall. It has taken the place of my Minolta single lens reflex camera. It has replaced my alarm clock, my watch, a handwritten note, my pedometer, my metronome, my egg timer, and my outdoor thermometer. But it deprives me of many things as well. Sometimes of wonder, of mental resting, and of the time that spiritual folks call kenosis. Kenosis is the time that we empty ourselves of worry, of duty, of obligation, of work, to allow us to have quiet time. We may be in a physical place where there is no sound entering our ears, but if we are on our phones, our brains are noisy as we experience not only the constant input of information, but the jumping from one thing to another, sometimes carrying threads of several texts at once. And wonder, I believe, has disappeared. Wonder allowed Buddha to be enlightened. It allowed John Smith to hear the voice of Jesus. Wonder allowed John Muir to find his God in national parks. Wonder isn't meditation, it's opening the passages of thought to ask questions like those that young children ask. The Wright brothers had to wonder if we could fly without a hot air balloon above us. Cristofori had to wonder if there could be a keyboard instrument that could play a range of dynamic levels. And nowadays, if someone offers a question of wonder, the knee jerk reaction is to Google it right then and there, leaving no time for the wondering to go anywhere. It's time to recapture moments of wonder. I challenge you to allow a long time between a question and grabbing the phone. When the Googling will fill vacant time, the wondering time, the kenosis, and see what your soul does. Let that happen. Let the Googling not happen and let the kenosis fill the time. If you are anxious while waiting for the time to pick up the phone, you may wonder if you are addicted to the phone, exhibiting symptoms associated with true addiction. If you smile while waiting, perhaps you have found a new way of being. And perhaps people around you will enjoy some conversation on the topic at hand before someone succumbs to the urge to Google. Why are we talking about wonder in a God talk? Well, I could also ask, how can this be part of spiritual growth? And the answer might be obvious to some of us. If you subscribe to a spiritual practice that discourages worshiping idols, you may see a similarity here with the attachment to the phone's information hub and an Old Testament idol of a golden calf. Both the phone and any other tangible thing can pull us away from life's important focus. For some, that important focus could be a godly life. For some, it's paying more attention to a partner. For others, it's about attending to those around us, dining companions, our children, people at a function. And when we make that thing, that inanimate object, more important than real people who are in our presence, we are making a decision about priorities of what is truly important in our lives. There have been no established etiquette guidelines around the use of our mobile phones, but I'm still shocked when I dine with someone who has their phone turned on, lays it right beside their plate, and checks it every time it vibrates to see if the person texting is more important than me. And yes, that's exactly how it feels. Modern phones have no visible cords, but the umbilical that tethers it to many of us is quite evident. Since the pandemic, we have had to make some conscious efforts to put the phone down for an hour now and then. Or how about this? Go to the store without it. Leave it at home and really feel the feels that you experience without it driving, shopping, driving home. That awareness can tell you a lot about how addicted you are or are not to the comfortable, constant state of urgent communication and knowledge that it provides. And I know that attachment to things can get in the way of my ability to wonder, to notice true awe. Allowing ourselves to engage in wonderment is but one example of how being present and awake and aware of our being in the world is a rich and meaningful way to live. When I wonder at the sunset, I don't grab my phone to take a picture of it. I stand there and remain in the state of wonder. When our wondering is about something grand or seemingly impossible, it may lead us to a state of awe. And that brings me to a little pet peeve of mine, which is how our language has diminished, I guess I'd say, diminished the word awesome. I do understand pop culture and how it informs our language. I still use the word cool to mean something other than a temperature. But this awesome thing bothers me because we need true awe, just as we need wonder. And when we reduce awe to meaning anything that is marginally above average, it sucks the life out of the word. How about that song, My God is an Awesome God? Now, I do believe that God belongs to everybody, not just the singer. So I might change the lyrics to be Our God is an Awesome God. But the point is that awesome can be used here. The definition of awesome is extremely impressive or daunting, inspiring great admiration, apprehension, or fear. And the second definition says extremely well, excellently. And now that second definition is where I believe our pop culture began, but it says extremely well, not just a hair over average. I think that God, however you relate to God or define the term, is truly awesome because it's so daunting, so inspiring, so extremely impressive that we can hardly get our arms around the thought of God. And that's where the God talk just led us. Spend some time this week just sitting and wondering about things, about anything. Wonder about how to empty yourself and then try to do it. Experience kenosis, so the voice of God can influence your wondering. It just may lead you to something awesome. Let's pray. To the infinite wisdom, the great intelligence, the great spirit, we ask these things, that you use your power of divine comfort to help those who are starving, those without shelter, those displaced from their families. So much of our human family is in distress right now. Help us to understand how each one of us can improve the state of others. Help us to hold one another up as we move through each day with a word, a text, a look, a smile. Let us remember that our journey on this planet is not an accident. We are meant to be here for a while to learn the lessons that our souls can learn only in mortal form. Help us to not live in fear, but rather with the knowledge that we were created with strength and wisdom, the wisdom to know when to use it and when to rest. Guide our feet, our hands, our thoughts, so that we can act with love in all ways. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Blessings on all.